Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Kenny Wallace Show, brought to you by JEGS, the leader in high performance aftermarket car parts. Remember to go to jegs.com. Why do I feel like we've been off from NASCAR? It's because we have been. Wow, that was a long break. It was a whole full week. All right, let's get into it right away. The Chicago Street Course Race. All right. Let's start out like this. The Herminator's got drawings. You see this? These are the people that are smarter than you and me. These are leaders. These are smart people. See all these people? That's you and me. We're dumb. All right? All these people, all those people said, Chicago Street Course Race won't work. It's stupid. Everybody's going to die, get shot. This is crazy talk. These are leaders. Leaders do things. That's why they own companies. It's why they're smarter than us. Remember, this is all of us. We're all the people. We're the complainers and whiners. All right. That was funny. All right. How wrong you all were. Now, if you go back in the Kenny Wallace Show, I said the Chicago Street Course Race was going to be awesome. Let's see how it works. Let's see what they're up to, because NASCAR has to reinvent the wheel. I've already laid out that so many of you upset me when you go, the old days are gone. Well, they are gone, right? We talked about that. We lost Dale Sr. It was a tragic blow. I lost my father. It's a tragic blow. Dick Trickle died. Rusty Wallace don't race anymore. Dale Jr. don't race anymore. Neither does Tony Stewart or any of the great drivers. So we're in a new era. And the leaders are listening to all of you. All of you don't know what you want. You really don't. So this Chicago Street Course Race was a grand slam, not even a home run. There are a couple holdouts that I see on social media that are just mad because it was a success. NASCAR sucks. No, it don't. You're mad because it was such a great show. I'm going to tell you what, it's been a long time since an audience was captivated like they were at that Chicago Street Course Race. We had the worst storm we'd had in ages come through the Midwest. It destroyed Macon Speedway, Macon, Illinois, tore the bleachers out, shut down racetracks, and that storm center punched the city of Chicago. And NASCAR leaders did an incredible job at calling audibles. They could have at any time said it's over, but no, they got qualifying in both series. Xfinity, Cole Custer wins the race, 2 laps shy of halfway, but hey, Cole set quick time. He led the race, and he's the winner. Then you look at NASCAR, Denny Hamlin, the Cup Series. Hamlin, quick time, and then the storm comes. They drop the green flag at 5:15, and there's water on the racetrack. They're racing in the rain. They're side by side. Some of them lost control. They hit tire barriers. But you know what? These Cup drivers are not professional V8 road course racers. When is the last time that NASCAR ran a street course? That's right. Hardly ever. It's like, oh my God, they're going to do what? So let's break it down. This new next-gen car was built exactly. Charlie, make sure you quote this. This next-gen car was built exactly for this situation. We are not going to rain this race out. We're going to race in drizzle. We're going to race with water on the streets. No more rain out. Don't have to leave early. You're going to make it home for work on Monday. Number one, we raced with wet conditions, puddles on the racetrack. That right there alone was worth its weight in gold. For years, the fans, I hate NASCAR because they make it rain. It's like a damn comedy. It's like, what? When NASCAR to know it's going to rain? Zip it. So, it was just unbelievable, right? Here, we watch them racing on the city streets, and in the background, you see everyday people driving through the city of Chicago going, what's going on over there down on Lake Michigan Drive? They're running a NASCAR race. Hey, if anything, I mean, I turned to channels this morning on Monday morning. This was a big deal. It ricocheted throughout America, throughout the world. And you say, it did not. Well, yes, it did. It ricocheted throughout the world because we had a New Zealander. We had a New Zealander win this race. Can you believe it? All right, let's get to it. I told you how good the race was. I told you all are followers. There's leaders. We did it. It worked. There's no more arguing. You guys are wrong. Admit it. All right. So let's talk about the winner real quick because I said this is world news. Shane van Gisbergen. Shane van Gisbergen. Now that's a mouthful. So he is from New Zealand. So they call him SVG because it's hard to say that. Say it one more time with me. Shane van Gisbergen. 3 names, kind of like Kenneth Lee Wallace. KLW. But they call him SVG. He's a 3-time V8 Supercar champion. He has 80 wins. Stop and think about Jimmy Johnson, 70-something NASCAR wins. Now, he's a V8 Supercar champion. So over in Australia, New Zealand, wherever they're at over there, I call it Marco Ambrose country. We all know Marco Ambrose came over here and he was a hit. Let's put it this way. Them New Zealanders, those guys over there, Australia, that whole area, they can run some road course cars. Boy, can they drive. That's all they do. And this new next-gen car was copied after them. It was copied after them. So SVG puts on, listen, he comes from the back, wiggles his way through the front. Nobody passed and outbroke those drivers like SVG did. So now you got Red Bull. Are they going to come back to NASCAR? Remember, Red Bull left NASCAR. They went over there. Now they're on Twitter. They're on Facebook. Red Bull is the energy drink. Man, everybody loves NASCAR. You know what I mean? So maybe Red Bull comes back. Maybe some of those drivers come over here because the new next-gen car is closer to their cars. Remember, we are NASCAR. That's our name. And that's V8 Supercar Series. That's their deal. So, all right, let's get to the race. They dropped the green flag. It looks like Christopher Bell, 2-time Chili Bowl champion. Looks like a dirt racer is going to win this race. Christopher Bell's out there. He's running along, and NASCAR calls an audible. Hey, we're not going to make it to lap 100. We're only going to go to lap 75. So we're going to announce it. Hey, drivers, hey, teams, we're only going to lap 75. Good audible. Kyle Busch said that we knew that would happen because we have engineers. They could, they can add too. They could tell that there's no way this race was going to end in the light because of the audible that had to be called. So poor Christopher Bell got caught with his pants down. So, the rest of them were up front because they pitted. They said, uh-oh, this race is going to have to be shortened. We're going to pit now because they're going to shorten this race. You see what I'm saying? All the other teams said they're going to shorten this race. Probably going to announce it pretty soon. I don't blame him, though. Christopher Bell's out front. He doesn't pit. He pits, but he comes wiggling his way through the front, and he ends up getting in a wreck. So Bell's out of it. All right. Noah Gragson hit the wall 4 times. He was a human highlight reel. Kyle Busch, he wrecks early, like lap 3, comes back. Let the Herminator get the rundown here real quick. So here's the rundown of the race. All right. Here's the rundown. So what's his name again? SVG wins the race. Justin Haley, number 1 star. What a great drive by Justin Haley. Cannot say enough about him. We got to keep the show going, though. Good job, Justin Haley. Chase Elliott. I think the race is famous because Chase Elliott runs 3rd. So, he's the most popular driver. Remember this. Anytime they say, was it a good race or bad race? If they say it's a good race, That's all the Chase Elliott fans because he finished good. Chase Elliott third, Kyle Larson fourth. Kyle Busch comes back from just, hey, those walls were pretty soft, some of them. I mean, Kyle Busch was windshield deep, comes back, finished fifth. Austin Cindric sixth. This Michael McDowell keeps showing up. He runs seventh. This is unbelievable. That's the team that really showed up with this new car. When they invented this new next-gen car, it was because they wanted the smaller teams to be better, and this new car is definitely better. Joey Logano 8th, Ty Gibbs 9th, and Buescher 10th. And just a shout-out, Denny Hamlin, your pole sitter, finishes 11th. So we have a lot of wrecking. Byron gets into the wall. Kevin Harvick spins to avoid him. That was the big highlight reel. Remember when the whole racetrack was blocked up? That was because Byron gets into the wall, right? And then Harvick's like, oh my gosh. Harvick spins to miss him, and they pile the whole track up. So that was a little bit of a comedy reel. So what a great race. But let's get down to the end, right? Let's get down to the end. It's like, oh boy, Justin Haley's going to upset NASCAR. Justin Haley's going to win this race. Who's this guy coming from like 30th all the way to the win? Who's this number 91 car? All right, let's break it down. So Justin Marks and Pitbull, Pitbull, the singer, they said, we're going to start this team called Project 91. And, well, what is it? Justin Marks and Pitbull said, we're going to create a car and we're going to hire all these great drivers from all these disciplines. So they put Jenson Button in it over there at Circuit of the America. So Jenson Button said, I never drove this hard in my life. If you remember the whole Jenson Button experience, that was this car that won. So this is who will be next. So Jenson Button drives a Project 91 car. Now SVG drives it, except these Super V8 guys from New Zealand, Australia, they can get it on these type of cars. One thing that I thought was interesting was SVG. He heel-toed. Instead of just, ing, ning, ning, ning. He was old school in it. Because if you use the clutch, then you don't wheel hop. So when you use the clutch to downshift, you can brake really deep without the rear tires hopping. It's called brake hop. So SVG and those guys over there, they use an old school technique that we used to use, where your right foot, you barely push the clutch in, you rev the motor up, you downshift. If you do it wrong, the rear tires get to hopping. So that was an advantage. He outdrove everybody. I told you who the team is, where it's from. They came to the front, and he went from 20th something, and with about 5 laps to go, you knew he was going to win it if nothing happened. He passes Justin Haley, but it was a feel-good win, because here's the reason it was a feel-good win. It was worldly. He could speak English. I meant that in a good way. You could understand him. And I got to be honest with you, even in my dirt car, them Aussies, New Zealanders, they love dirt racing. So they come to Eldora, they race with us. And this SVG, he's got fans. Kyle Larson loves him because they race dirt. We've seen the pictures out there of SVG running a wing sprint car. He's the real deal. He's another Kyle Larson, this SVG is. He's run everything. He's raced it all. And all racers are fans of other racers. We're going to make another show in a little bit, because I heard a lot of you out there, oh, so those NASCAR drivers think there's something, then they got their ass beat. NASCAR drivers don't think like that. So we'll break that down in another show. But until then, y'all better just get on the bandwagon, because NASCAR is officially taken off into stratosphere. It's world news because SVG won. It's national news because it worked and it was downtown Chicago. Nobody got hurt. We had a worker got electrocuted to death. I'm telling you right up, it was a sad situation. My prayers to his family. But they were building the racetrack, and a gentleman that was doing the electrical work, got electrocuted. But in the end, as of now, nobody got murdered. It was a beautiful setting. It was on Lake Michigan around the fountain, and the view was just fantastic. So, hey, Herman, put your money where your mouth is. Well, I did. Go back through the Kenny Wallace show, and I said, this is exciting. It's going to work. And by the way, NASCAR used a shortcut. They hired everybody at the Nashville Grand Prix to build the track. So if you're wondering how they did all this, they called the people down at Nashville that does the IndyCar Grand Prix through the streets of Nashville, and they put the track up. So congratulations to Ben Kennedy. It was his brainchild. And don't you know, Jim France, Mike Helton, all the old guard, the old group, they're like, Ben, you want to do what? And he pulled it off. It's kind of like sending your kid out into the real world. He graduates. So it's not important for us to know how much it costs to do. All we know is now NASCAR can run in the rain. You'll be able to get home on time for work on Monday. And that's what this car was built for. And buddy, I'm going to tell you what, when they ran 2 wide at the start of that race, I said, no way. And just like they say, way. All right, everybody. That was the Chicago Street Course race. We're going to make up another show here about all of you upset that you're seeing. Some of you are mad that the NASCAR drivers got beat by an Aussie or a New Zealander. All right, remember, please subscribe here. We're on podcast form. iTunes, Spotify. Remember, it's too long. No, it's not. On your way to work, watch half the show. On your way back, watch the other half. I love you all. Remember, like, subscribe. We're getting ever so close to that $100,000 silver plaque that we're going to put up here, me and Charlie. Put it over there. We're going to share it all with you. All right. Remember, go at it with me. Go at it with me. Tell me all your opinions. Tell me why it was no good. You're the ones I love to argue with. I love you.